Hey guys, welcome back. This is Mental Health Sunday with Michelle. I hope everybody's doing good. So today I don't have any notes. I'm done with anxiety right now. Um, just because I'm only gonna talk about the stuff that I deal with and like I struggle with. So I'm not gonna start talking about like schizophrenia because I have no freaking clue what it is to deal with that. So the next step is I'm gonna get into depression. But so before I jump to those regular videos where I like tell you guys about the information and the signs and symptoms and all that, I just wanted to bring up like the last few weeks, I guess. So I've first struggled with depression back in 2013. Um, I consider it as major depression. That episode lasted about 6 months, where, and I've talked about this on my IG feed, where all I did was sleep or played like computer games. I just tried to stay out of like everybody's way, because whether I was quiet and not doing anything or I was raging and snapping at someone. And unfortunately, when I did snap at someone, it was usually my kids or my ex at the time. Um, so yeah, that lasted 6 months, and I remember having panic attacks. I would just start crying out of nowhere. I still remember one day I pretty much tried to force feed myself because I knew I had to eat. So I just made a toast and figured it was like the easiest thing I could make. Made a toast, and then as I was buttering it, I broke down in tears and I started shaking, and it suddenly felt like the hardest thing I ever had to do. Um, so when I got out of that, um, I left my relationship. I ended up getting my own place. I got a job. I figured, that would kind of relieve the depression because I felt super isolated. I had no job. I was staying at home with the kids. So I made changes in hopes to relieve my depression. And I mean, it helped to some degree. And then I got into a new relationship, and then it kind of just hit me all over again in 2015. And like obviously it was linked to like my self-esteem and lack of self-love, self-worth, and all that. And both times I did have suicidal thoughts, and like I just wanted to end it. I was miserable and I was unhappy, and I just wanted to like freaking make it stop. And the second time in 2015, um, I still remember my best friend had moved in, and one night I was outside. I was smoking my cigarettes, crying, shaking, like crying to the point where I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I was literally like trying so hard to catch my breath. And I ended up just getting up and going for a walk, and I left my kids in the house with my best friend. I didn't say a word to anyone. Went for a walk, went and walked to like the busiest street close to my house. And the entire time I was walking down the sidewalk, the entire time in my head I was just like, just walk into it, just walk into traffic, just jump in front of a car, just end it. Like it's that easy. Just turn your feet that way and just go. And I was crying the entire time I was walking. And so it's like a part of me had those thoughts, and then the other part of me had like my kids' faces, just like, no, you can't. So, so that was back then. Now I'm doing better. Like I don't want to like end my life, but constantly have to have my guard up, because like it's like 1 minute I'm okay, and then the next second I'm getting triggered. So it's the same thing with anxiety or any other mental illness. Like you constantly have your guard up, and you constantly have to like recognize your triggers, because if you don't, it'll hit you, and it just hits you, and then it just gets to the point where you don't know how to handle it and you don't know how to get out of it. So I'm usually pretty good at recognizing like a trigger before falling into it. But sometimes it does hit me, and I just, now it's like, it's recognizable though. Like now when I do feel depressed, I'm just like, oh, okay, so I'm depressed. I feel like I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit in a dark room and just sleep forever. No, okay, not forever, but you know what I mean. And that's what happened last week. Thursdays is when I usually make this video. And so I was writing down notes about depression in my next video, and I was like, all right, cool, you know, whatever. And then it's just kind of like hit me where I was just like, ugh, like I don't want to do this video. I don't. And I had felt it a little bit like the week prior, just because I had some things that I had to take care of. Like I ended up stopping a relationship because I wanted to focus on my healing. And that was not fun because it hurt the other person. And I kind of, it was hard on me. But yeah, no, I didn't want to do this video. Even today, like even right now, like I just want to be like in my bed and watching my shows, and I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be freaking talking about my shit, because I feel like I'm too weak right now to, talk about it, because then the emotions are like unmanageable, I guess. But so I just wanted to, bring this up and kind of tell you what I've been doing to get through it, I guess. So as I've said in one of my posts, like I don't resent it anymore. Like I don't make it the bad guy anymore. I don't try to hide it. I don't suppress it. I just kind of give it room to be there. So it's like, and I'll give myself like time, and just like I'll let myself rest, because you need it. So like I've been, forcing myself to do some work for the business, because that's what makes me happy. So I've been doing some work for the business, and the other day, like I wanted to sit in my room in the dark, and I forced myself to sit in the living room with natural light. And sometimes it's the little things, like I know at first, back then, like you would have told me to do these things and I would have freaking wanted to claw your eyes out. But once you kind of get through the whole like resistance thing and kind of really, really force yourself to work towards healing, it does get better. So pretty much all I've been doing is kind of sitting around being lazy, watching shows, watching movies. I haven't been drinking the water that I tried to drink, and I haven't been eating much. But I'm trying not to be in a negative state. Kind of like if somebody else was dealing with this, I would tell them like, it's okay. Like don't worry about it. Tomorrow's a new day. So I'm trying to do that for myself. I'm trying to talk to myself as if I'm somebody else. One thing I do want to mention before I have to stop this video is that I've noticed a link between my time of the month and my emotions. I really do get more emotional on my time of the month. So that can just be another cause, in your hormonal imbalances or whatever. And I've also noticed a link between my emotions and the full moon, which for people that are into the spiritual moon phases and all that, huge link. That and the new moon for sure. All right, so I'm gonna say bye and thank you for watching this video. And yeah, my heart goes out to you. You're not alone. All right, not alone. Big hugs.